Hey, Battle Bill, here with another video, and today we're getting some more Great League Go Battle League battles. Alright, objective for this video, or for today, is to figure out a team that can take down everybody's favorite grasshole line, if you know what I'm referring to. If you don't know what I'm referring to, let me introduce you, or not really introduce you, but at least mention it to you. Everybody's favorite grasshole line, the team that consists of Bastiodon and double Shadow Razor Leafers, whether it be your pick of Victreebel or Grottle or Blossom or Tropius or you name the Razor Leafer, they put in a lot of thought to use that team. I digress. The objective for this video, and for this set that I'm about to show you, is to figure out a team that can handle that favorite grasshole team, but also tackle and take down the Season 4 meta of Great League Pokemon. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm referring to. So I put together a team that seems like it could have been used in Season 1, and you know, as the meta's adapting, it's starting to look like some of these Season 1 type Pokemon are developing more and more play back in Season 4, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I'd rather these Pokemon be around than the tap 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 grasshole line. That is probably my least favorite line of PvP Pokemon that I've ever seen in any of the leagues. Whether you agree or disagree with me, I'm going to come to you and be as honest as I possibly can. And I'm going to let you know my opinions. You're allowed to disagree with me. But on this topic, this is just how I feel about it. So again, the objective was catch some grasshole lines with this team, but also have success against the Season 4 meta. Now the question is, will this team be able to do it? Let's find out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's check out these battles. Now, before I jump into commentating the battles, let's talk about the line that I put together here. This team consists of a Venusaur lead with Altaria, yes, you heard that right, and Registeel, yes, you also heard that right, in the back. Now, you might be thinking, yes, for a long time in Season 1 and Season 2, I really despised Registeel also, but what Registeel did because of its popularity was keep that grasshole line at bay, and I've learned to appreciate Registeel for that exact reason, because it is the lesser of the two evils, and I would much prefer to see more Registeels around than Bastiodon and double Razor Leafers. So the logic again between this was Registeel literally slaughters every Pokemon in that team of 3, which is why I kept it at bay when, or non-existent, when Season 1 was around and pretty much Season 2 until it got nerfed essentially, I think around Season 3. And then Venusaur was also picked because Venusaur has a positive matchup against all 3 of those Pokemon in the grasshole line of Bastiodon and Razor Leafer, because it's a grass and poison, which means it double resists those Razor Leafs. I'm pretty confident, because poison resists it, and I think grass resists itself. Correct me if I'm wrong. Either way, at the minimum, it's single resist, but if I'm wrong, please let me know. And then Altaria. Altaria, yes, would get slaughtered by Bastiodon, but it's the only Pokemon in the team of 3 that would get slaughtered there, and I needed to put together a more diverse line for extra coverage, and Altaria would slaughter the Razor Leafers, because Altaria definitely double resists all of those Razor Leafs coming at it because of its dragon and its flying typing. So, getting into the commentating of this battle, you'll notice I did not catch a grasshole line with this first battle, but I lost lead, and I'm just trying to come back because honestly, I do have a bit of an issue against opposing Altarias if I'm going to be leading with Venusaur, and I happen to run into that here in this first match, because Registeel will be my only legitimate, no, well, Altaria would counter itself also, but I feel like with Azus being everywhere, if I safe swapped Altaria, there was a good chance I was going to get met by an Azu. Turns out this person was running Altaria double fighter, even though Vigoralt's not really a fighter, but it has counter, so fake fighter. Either way, I thought it was a pretty unique line. I respected it, don't get me wrong. Solid battle here. I ended up losing because of the reason that I just mentioned, but we'll take it. It happens. We lost to a unique line, and we're just going to have to jump into the second one and see if I can catch a grasshole line then. Now, based on that first match, you might be wondering, why are you leading with Venusaur? I'm leading with Venusaur because, yes, I'm looking for the grasshole line, but also because of the fact that the Season 4 meta consists of a lot of Azumarill and Galarian Stunfisk leads. In this match, we ended up catching Meganium, which isn't exactly the grasshole line either, and they're going for a charge move. They went for it very quickly. This has to be a frenzy plant, so I decided not to shield. The Meganium definitely needs to land the Earthquake to have any legitimate play in this matchup against Venusaur, and even then, I'm pretty confident it still loses. I'd have to double check that sim. But because they threw the Frenzy Plant, I'm just going to go straight Sludge Bomb because it's literally only one Vine Whip more and there's really no point in baiting. They're going for another charge move. Notice as I pretty much got to the Frenzy Plant, so again, I knew that this was not going to be an Earthquake. This was going to be another Frenzy Plant. So I'm not sure what my opponent's logic is here, but I'm just going to take advantage of the mistake they're making. And I hope we can all realize what the mistake they're making is. So now I'm going for another Sludge Bomb. That will one-shot the Meganium's remaining health. So I won lead and I have shield advantage and I had a bunch of extra energy. So even though this Altaria is going to come in and essentially Dragon Breath down my Venusaur, I can at least get that Sludge Bomb through and do a third of the Altaria's health. So now it committed to the Dragon Breath down, but I have shield advantage. I'm going to go into Registeel here and I'm going to spam Flash Cannons. They swapped into Azu and just out of pure instinct, I swapped into my Altaria, but I don't really mind it too much because the Altaria will do a little bit of chip damage, but I'm going to let it just completely go down. It can take this Ice Beam to the face, and it's going to be a bit tough for this the Azumarill to bubble down my Altaria. So I'm just going to do as much Dragon Breath damage and as many Sky Attacks as I can and let Registeel have 2 shields to try and finish off the backline of my opponent's team. So they're continuing, they're committing to over farming at the minimum. They realized how close I was to another Sky Attack, so they decided to go for their charge move here. Again, no intention of shielding, but they definitely over farmed, and I'm just a little worried about a potential Hydro Pump coming through. So I go for my Flash Cannons here. This will either get my opponent's last shields or it will do a solid chunk to the Azumarill. It gets the Azumarill into a red, so I'm like, okay, looks like they'll probably try and throw out a Hydro Pump at this point, even though I can't really commit to a lock-on farm down. They did farm up a bunch here, so I'm just going to throw up the shield just to be safe, and it ends up being an Ice Beam. So if you follow me on Twitch, Baited Bill, back at it again, if you know what I'm referring to. Either way, because they baited me, I overfarmed a little bit. I'm going for a Flash Cannon. This will either take out the Azumarill or get their last shield. Gets the last shield, so in the back of my mind, it's still kind of telling me they might have a Hydro Pump or might be running Hydro Pump. So I'm pretty confident, since I'm only worried about Sky Attacks coming from the Altaria, I decide to double shield here, and it ends up being another Ice Beam, which is fantastic, but at least I'm able to lock on farm down, which means I'm at 1.5 Flash Cannons, which I can throw almost back to back at the Altaria. So the first Flash Cannon is about to go through. This should put the Altaria into the red, gets it really low. Almost could commit to probably lock on farm down, but they're getting this charge move through, which I'm pretty sure ends up being a Sky Attack. Yep, ends up being a Sky Attack. Gets me in the red, and another Sky Attack would take me out, and I don't remember how much energy they have, so I'm not taking any chances trying to lock on farm down. I'll go for the Flash Cannon, and I will take this dub. So, performed pretty well there. Pretty expectant Season 4 team. Altaria's making more of a comeback on other people's teams too. They had Azumarill, and they also have Meganium. This team performed pretty well against it. Now the question is, can I obtain my target and go up against a Grassol line? Also, to add on to my reasoning and why I'm running Venusaur in the lead is because, again, Season 4 meta, a lot of Galarian Sunfisk and Azumarills, Venusaur performs well against them, and then against the Bastiodon double Razor Leafer team, Venusaur performs well against all those mons also. If I led with Registeel, Registeel would have a bit of a struggle against potential Azus and Galarian Sunfisk, so Venusaur was the safest lead option on this team of 3, but then we run into a Shadow Abomasnow, and I essentially sacked my Venusaur in this matchup because I had 2 things weak to this Abomasnow, and then they decided to not stay in against my Registeel, which was a bit of a problem. So I'm going to go for a Sky Attack here. I'm going to throw it at the Hypno. And they, again, like I said, they didn't stay in. They swapped into Hypno, so I went with my Altaria. Now I just need to hope that Registeel can take care of the Abomasnow and whatever their third Pokemon is. Luckily, their Hypno does not have Ice Punch, so what I'm going to do here is commit to a Dragon Breath down of their Hypno and throw that remaining energy, save the shields for Registeel, and just, again, hope that it can handle whatever my opponent's remaining Pokemon are. So, big weakness of this team is Abomasnow. Abomasnow was more popular last season. It still has a little bit of popularity now, but I don't know if I necessarily consider it, I can speak English, consider it Season 4 meta. You let me know if you think it's still around a lot. So, they bring in Azumarill, and I'm like, oh, this one's going to be close. That Azu-Reggie matchup, as much as I could potentially win it by spamming Flash Cannons, is just not a situation I'm going to leave with a good chunk of energy or in health to deal with the Abomasnow that's in the back. Plus, we both have 2 shields. So, I'm not sitting in the most ideal situation, but, again, Registeel, as much as it's fallen from grace, definitely has more play than people give it credit for. And again, I would much prefer to see Registeel's back around than the Grassol line. So, again, you let me know if you agree with that logic or disagree with it. Either way, That's how I'm feeling. But we're just going to throw charge moves back and forth. I'm pretty sure I got baited again before like usual. And then I'm expecting another Ice Beam, so didn't get baited this time. Very nice. Got myself into yellow. Decided to overfarm because I would love to keep the shields and then potentially throw 2 Flash Cannons at the Abomasnow. But my opponent lets their Azumarill go down, and they bring in their Abomasnow, and it has a lot of health. And these Powder Snows are hurting. And it's spammy, and it's a shadow. So all its charge moves are going to hit me pretty hard. Even though it's a resisted Weather Ball, it would have probably done enough of a chunk where it could have just Powder Snowed me down if I let it through, unfortunately. So I'm going to go for a Flash Cannon here. And also what you might have noticed was my switch screen came up because I was trying to pull a swap, and I was going to try and pull a swap again, but I was just way off on the energy calculation there. The first time I think I had it, and they just, again, swaps are broken, so it didn't let it go through. If I could have pulled the swap, to be honest, I could have won this match, even though I lost the lead really hard, but unfortunately was not able to do it. This video is starting to feel a little reminiscent of another video I put out 2 videos ago when I did Unova Stunfisk and I tried to catch a Galvantula, and I didn't catch a single Galvantula. I'm running an anti-grass hole line, and I cannot seem to run into the grass hole line. That was an Azumarill lead though, so you know, that's a positive. Main reason why I'm running Venusaur in the lead. They swap into their Altaria. I swap into my Registeel, feeling a little bit more comfortable than I probably should have felt. So even though I land that Flash Cannon, since they don't decide to commit a shield, I decide not to commit a shield. And they make a very big play here by going for the Dragon Pulse instead of the typical Sky Attacks. And both of them, I actually don't really know if Dragon Pulse is more efficient than Sky Attacks are, but it does a good chunk of damage, and getting in that extra damage from the Dragon Pulse, even though it was extra energy, is going to allow them to Dragon Breath spam me down with their Quick Move. So I throw another Flash Cannon there, and you're noticing these Dragon Breaths are really tearing me down, and I really wish I would have shielded the Dragon Pulse. If I shield the Dragon Pulse, I keep switch advantage, and this match sits nicely the way I would hope it would be. And unfortunately, we CMP tie on that last charge move, so I'm kind of forcing myself to shield to try and keep switch advantage, and I'm going to throw the Flash Cannon. What I was hoping was that I can get to the Flash Cannon before them, at least get their shields, and then lose switch advantage, but unfortunately, I'm going to throw this through. They're going to shield it, they're going to Dragon Breath me down, so I'm just like, you know, let me swap into my own Altaria and try and finish off theirs. They end up swapping out just in time, and they bring in the Azumarill to deal with my Altaria. But because the Azumarill moveset is not really a given, you can have success with Ice Beam, Play Rough, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, or Play Rough, Hydro Pump. We're going to run into what's a pretty positive situation for my Altaria. So I'm getting to my second Sky Attack here, and what you'll notice is, after I put their Azumarill into the yellow, they're going to go for a charge move here. And I'm just worried it's going to be an Ice Beam, and I'm completely screwed. Ends up being a Play Rough. So we lucked out a bit. Yes, Play Rough is super effective, but Ice Beam is double super effective, and I cannot get bubbled down here. So I'm going to actually get to another Sky Attack, and my swapped in Altaria actually beat a swapped in Azumarill in the Zero Shield, and I really didn't have that much extra energy. So that worked out pretty nicely. Now the question is, what is their final mon? And it ends up being a Defense Deoxys, and as long as they don't have Psycho Boost, so you know, movesets are really doing me a solid here. As long as they don't have Psycho Boost, I can get to these 2 Frenzy Plants and win this match. But what I also have to be cautious of is that Altaria is in the back with like 1 HP, so they could try and pull a Saxwell. They're going to go for a charge move here. I'm just being very hopeful this isn't going to be a Psycho Boost. Ends up not being a Psycho Boost. Most of the Deoxyses I've been running into are running Rock Slide and Thunderbolt. They try to pull a swap. Altaria's literally dead. Slot didn't work. I go for the Frenzy Plant, and I pull off the win. So that match went pretty well. I'm showing you that this team that's built to counter Grass Holes can at least have some success against the Season 4 meta too. So we really want that big combo there. Also, outside of this team's double ice weakness, it's put together pretty well. So now can we finally catch Grass Hole line? Not quite. So hopefully I can continue using this team, run into a couple of those double Grass Bastiodon lines, and then put together a video there to show you that it works. But at least what I'm going to show you here is that this team does still work outside of that. And that's the main thing we want to aim for, is because the biggest issue that I think a lot of people are running into with these Grass Hole lines is that you can make a team that counters it, but then it stinks against the Galarian, Stunfisk, Azumarill meta. So the biggest key of me at least still showcasing the set, even though I didn't run it to a single Grass Hole, is that this team is still doing well against Pokemon like Galarian, Stunfisk. Like, they swapped it in after they essentially lost lead, or kind of lost lead, because their Mantine was doing super effective quick moves, but I guess their charge moves were both water. You didn't see the second one, but you're gonna find out they're running double water charge moves, and they swap into Galarian Sunfisk here that I essentially got into the red, and I'm gonna be able to bring in my Altaria to Dragon Breath down. So Venusaur counters Galarian Sunfisk, and at least Registeel has super effective Focus Blast to deal with Galarian Sunfisk. I'm not saying that it counters it, I'm not saying it counters it, it doesn't. If Galarian Sunfisk lands the Earthquake, then Galarian Sunfisk wins that match, but then also Altaria has Oppressive Dragon Breath to deal with Galarian Sunfisk too. So I wouldn't be overly stressed about that since it's like the biggest mon in Season 4 while trying to run this team if you're really sick of that Grass Hole line. Now that was a fascinating play by my opponent. I don't know what charge move they were expecting or how much damage they expected the Flash Cannon to do, but they really wanted to save their shields for their next set. I love when my opponents want to save their shields for like battles that aren't against me because it works out really well when I want to win the battle we're currently in. So they can keep looking to the future. I'll take this dub in the present. I've already learned their Mantine does not have Ice Beam by this point, so I decided not to shield, just to like, you know, double up on the double shield flex. Since they want to keep their shields, I'll keep mine, we'll call it even, and I'll take that dub. And it's a positive 3-2 set with a team that I'm hoping will counter Grass Holes. So we set out for one objective, like that other video, looking for Galvantulus, and we're not able to see? That's how distraught I am. Mission failed again. We'll hopefully get them next time. But yes, please let me know if you think this team would counter that Grass Hole line. I'm pretty confident it would, and let me know how you think this team would stack up against the Season 4 meta. I've put in a little bit of time with it. I haven't consistently been using it because I have a go-to team for Season 4 that I'm really enjoying, that I will put out a video on probably tomorrow. But let me know what you think of this team. I might use a mixture of both depending on how consistently I'm seeing those Grass Holes. Other than that, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.